Welcome to our third video in our series of journaling for performance. And today we have a new topic. We're going to be talking about turning doubt into drive that we can use in our performance. And something that's really important when we think about doubt or negative thoughts is that it's completely normal for us to have them. And as humans, we are bound to have some negative thoughts or self-doubt when going into performance. Thoughts like, what if this doesn't go well? What if I mess up? Am I prepared? They're going to come, maybe not to the same degree for everyone, but they often will be there.
These thoughts happen to every single athlete. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're a professional athlete. So the problem isn't necessarily the thoughts themselves, it's what we do when they arise.
And if we're not aware of how they impact us, often they can have a negative impact on our performance. The first step is always building awareness. And then from there, we can choose how we respond to them and actually use them as something to help us perform.
We're going to show you, with the help of your journal, how to turn these thoughts into something more helpful for your next performance.
Something that's important to know is that our brain is designed to protect us. So when we have these negative thoughts, it's often because we actually really care what we're about to do. So it's not always a bad thing. It means that this is important to us, and this is our way of our brain protecting us from potential failure or maybe getting embarrassed in your performance. And that's where journaling helps, because writing the thoughts down takes them out of your head and puts them on the paper where you can see them clearly and work with them instead of being caught up in them or getting lost in them.
So we want to start by writing down all of your pre-performance doubts, and we don't want to filter them or judge them, just get them out and be honest. It could look something like this. I'm not good enough to compete at this level. What if I freeze under pressure? Everyone else looks more confident than me.
And once they're on paper, they lose some of their power. You can see them for what they really are, thoughts and not facts. Next, we're going to look at each thought and ask two questions. One, what evidence supports this thought? And the second question is, what evidence contradicts it?
For example, I'm not good enough. Evidence for, maybe you made mistakes in the last game. Evidence against, you have trained consistently, you've improved, your coach trusts you to start.
This step helps you see that most of our negative thoughts are exaggerated or incomplete. They're based on emotion and not reality.
Now it's time to respond to these thoughts. So we're going to take our doubts and we're going to rewrite them into something more confident, actionable, and accurate.
So for example, I'll choke under pressure could be turned into, I've prepared for this and I can follow my plan. Or if you think, I don't belong here at this level, you can change that into, I have worked for this and I deserve to be here.
The goal isn't to lie to yourself. You're replacing that fear with focus. You're still being honest, but you're choosing a mindset that will help you perform.
It's really important to not lie to ourselves. We can build ourselves up without trying to convince ourselves of something that we're not sure is actually true. So for example, if we're going into a performance thinking, am I ready for this? Can I perform? It might be a bit difficult to believe I'm definitely going to win this today. We can be honest and say, I have prepared for this and I know that I can perform well. Once you've reframed your thoughts, pick one of them to use as your anchor thought before the performance. This is the phrase you'll come back to when those nerves or self-doubt hit.
A few examples could be something like, I'm prepared and focused. Breathe, compete, enjoy, trust your training.
Write it big and bold in your journal or even on a sticky note in your gear bag. So it's the last thing you see before you perform, and you see it often.
When you name a thought, it becomes less powerful. When you respond, you can change how it impacts you. That shift turns self-doubt into focus and fear into energy.
And like any mental skill, this will take time and effort to make it consistent and natural. But the more we practice noticing, becoming aware of these thoughts. And the more we practice responding to them, then the more natural that will come in performances.
What's important to know here is that we're not trying to get rid of our negative thoughts, because they're always going to be there. It's a part of performance. Instead, we are learning how to respond to them and use them in a helpful way.
And like we said at the start, we are turning these negative thoughts into drive, because your thoughts will either help or hinder you in your performance, and it's up to you to decide which one it will be.
So in your next journaling session, write those doubts down, question them, respond to them, and choose your anchor thought.
And remember, confidence is not about never doubting yourself. It's about knowing what to do and how to respond when those doubts do show up. Woo!